All right. Today in the Panorama Brand Studio, Whitney and I are chatting with Kimberly Davis, massage therapist, model, and actress. Kim is originally from New Mexico, and when she moved to Houston about 10 years ago, she went to, at the time was, the Texas Center for Massage Therapy to become a licensed massage therapist. She is now the founder of Align Athletic Massage and offers the best mobile massage services in Houston. She specializes her massages in deep tissue, sports, structural alignment, and injury rehabilitation. Kim has a beautiful passion for people and helping others improve their day-to-day well-being. I can firsthand say she's also great at giving stretching and lifestyle tips in her sessions. Last but not least, she became a plus-size model and actress and has done work with some of our favorite brands, Elastic Athletics and Buff Bunny. So fun to have you on the Wellness for Hugh podcast today, Kim. How are you feeling?
Oh my gosh, that was so nice. I'm feeling great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here with two of my favorite wellness girlies.
Yes, wellness girlies.
Yes.
So I figured we'd start, since Whitney found you first, telling the story about how you started going to Kim.
So I found Kim kind of randomly, and she had me at her first massage. I was just like, I'm hooked. I'm like, you can never leave. I love you. Amazing. And then we just kind of cultivated a friendship and started bartering yoga for massages, which is super amazing. And when I say she gives the best massages, I mean, she is the queen. I don't even have to tell her anything, and she'll get in there and she's just like, ooh, what's going on over here? I mean, her knowledge of anatomy, the body, and which she speaks my love language when she starts talking different muscles and what's going on. And that same language we use, with yoga and teaching it. So there's that connection right off the bat. And as I was joking earlier, she's really the only massage therapist who I like to talk to during my massages. Like, I don't normally like to talk. I don't know about y'all, but I'm like, okay, please just don't talk to me. I'm just going to lay here. And except with Kim, when she talks, it's like this very soothing voice, and she tells you great stories, and you're just like, it's the best, most dreamy storytelling and massage experience.
I love that. Wow.
Thank you. That's, again, so kind. Oh my gosh, you guys are so sweet.
So amazing. Yeah. And then Whitney started telling all of us to call you. And so I've had the opportunity to have a massage by you, which was lovely. And then I was like, now you have to help my mom.
Yes.
And the list goes on.
Your mom is so sweet. Oh my gosh. Shout out to her.
I know. So, and growing up, my mom was the same way. She loved massages. She would always go to them, and she would find her person. And it would be so sad. Like a year later, they would, leave or whatever. And she'd be like, no. So you can't go anywhere.
No,
you cannot leave.
I promise.
We need you here.
I'm here to stay. I promise.
I love it. So Kim, let's talk about how you got into massage. What's your story with that growing up?
So it's a little bit of a strange story. So growing up, my papa did reflexology, so I was really familiar with body work. I kind of grew up understanding that, human touch is really important in overall wellness. And I had moved to Houston about 10 years ago. And in that process, I had worked a couple of different jobs, serving job, I worked retail, and I had a day off when I was working retail. And I was just, I don't know if y'all have ever experienced that, where you're just feeling like, I need a change. I need something different. And I just had this crazy idea that I wanted to go jump out of an airplane. And so, so I went skydiving. Literally that day, it was the most incredible experience. 10 out of 10 recommend. It's very spiritual. I have been waiting to go back. But on the way back from skydiving, I was listening to Pandora Radio, and a commercial came on for Texas Center of Massage Therapy. Wow. And it just kind of planted the seed of like, oh, maybe that's something I could do to kind of, change up the jobs that I've been doing up till this point. So I called them, and it was the last day of registration before the term started. So I went ahead and signed up and started, I believe, that next week. And I've been doing it ever since. And I absolutely love it. It is so wonderful to be able to make an immediate impact on somebody's day and their well-being. And yeah, I say I fell into it, but that's
You literally fell.
Literally from
all the
sky.
Literally, yeah. All the signs were aligning.
Exactly. They aligned.
And you said your dad did reflexology?
My grandfather. Yeah.
Okay. That's really cool. Reflexology is really interesting as well.
Yeah. I mean, growing up, I used to watch him. You know, my Nana had issues with like diabetes, so her feet were always sort of bothering her. So he was constantly working on her and learned from a very young age, like I said, the importance of body work. And it really, I didn't realize how big of an impact it had on me until I got older and started to understand for myself, like, this is really a service that you can provide for people that really does help them. So
yeah, it's kind of interesting when you look back at your childhood and see where things are connecting.
Oh yeah,
it's beautiful, and it's really a gift to have a significant other that takes care of you. I love that your grandpa could do that for your Nana.
Oh yeah, he was always so helpful for her, and I know he made her life so much better just by being himself. So love you, Papa.
Yes, and that's what you're doing for all of us now. So it's beautiful.
I try.
So massage is definitely people's favorite. So let's talk about what is maybe the most common thing people come to you for a massage and just other things that it helps with.
Oh goodness. I would say just in general pain. Like in this day and age, the majority of people work at a desk. And that is not something that our bodies were designed to do. Our bodies are designed to be up and moving and active. And when you are sitting in front of a computer screen for 8, 10, sometimes 12 hours, depending on your job, it really takes a toll on your body in a way that I don't think we always really notice. So a lot of the time they just come in for, general aches and pains. And then during the course of our treatment or different sessions, we sort of realize there's a lot of underlying issues that come from their job or stem from, certain activities that they do throughout their day or don't do throughout their day that really have a big impact on their muscles and their overall health and well-being. So that's kind of the general issue, I would say, that the population has. But I mean, I work on a lot of athletes, so there's a lot of athletic sort of, I need to enhance my performance in this one particular way. How can we work on that? Which I love working with athletes as well. Yeah. So
because deep tissue is your specialty, right?
Yeah, deep tissue, more structural things are what I personally really like to work with. I like to help someone really be able to improve something dramatically within the way that their body functions. And so usually more of a deep tissue trigger point is going to affect that a little bit more so than more of a Swedish, which no hate to Swedish, it has its place. Trust me, there's so many of my clients who absolutely, they want the circulation, they want the relaxation. But from my perspective, I just really love to get in there, find the problems, and then try to fix them to the best of my ability.
You do get in there too. Sometimes it's like, it hurts so good kind of feeling, but then I always leave feeling like a brand new human.
Yeah.
Well, and I will say too, sometimes I've been a massage to release knots, and it is painful, and I don't enjoy that. But with you're like, some people are actually good at kind of like warming it up and getting it out in a more smooth way. Yeah. And of course, like, you still feel it, but then it's a release that feels good. I don't know. So I think you're good at that, because I only trust so many people with a deep tissue.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
I'm pretty picky on that.
You have to know what you're doing though. You have to understand the body and the muscles and breath. You're really good about cueing the breath release during that.
It's so important. It's the one thing that all humans have to do, and for whatever reason in our society, nobody really teaches us how to breathe. So I know you two are very familiar with breath because of your experiences with yoga and whatnot, but there's a huge part of the population that I'll be giving a massage and they're just holding their breath. I'm like, breathe. It's okay. It's all right. You're allowed to breathe. And it's kind of incredible how the minute somebody starts breathing properly, the tension in their body just kind of melts away. So breath is actually very important.
It's my lifelong goal to fall asleep in a massage. I have yet to do that. I feel like you've done that. Does that happen? Yeah. Is that a real thing?
It happens sometimes. I'll say it doesn't happen with a lot of my clients because I do such deep work, but there's a couple of them that even with the deep work, they are knocked out. And I'm like, I wish I had that talent. I don't have that talent, but I wish I did.
So
I've definitely fallen asleep in like a Swedish.
Yeah.
I don't know that have I fallen asleep with you? I've kind of dozed off a couple of times.
Yeah. I believe you've dozed off a couple of times. questions, but I don't know
Not
that
in
you've
the
ever,
middle
like,
of a story, though.
No.
Ooh, yeah.
No.
Which is okay if you do. I don't mind at all.
I think I usually start to doze right at the end because it's that shavasana feel at the end of yoga, right? And I'm like, if I'm actually at a place, I'm like, but can I just stay here and sleep?
Yeah.
Even with you, like, even though you came to me, I could technically stay in my home, but you have to take your stuff. Like, I need my table.
And I mean, I usually, as long as I don't have like a client back to back, I'm like, yeah, take your time getting off the table, because it does happen where when you're done with the massage, there's a little bit of like a massage drunk feeling that you get where you're like, okay, I just need to lay here for a second. And I have had people fall asleep at the end of the massage, and like 5 minutes go by and I'm like, are you okay in there? Are you okay? Everything
But
all
the
right?
beauty of being at home is you can literally get off the table and crawl into bed.
Exactly.
That's what I was just thinking. Yeah.
Exactly. And then you don't have to deal with Houston traffic afterwards, which everybody knows Houston traffic
stressful.
is the worst.
Yeah.
So that's another perk of having an at-home massage. So I recommend them.
That is the worst, when you just did something really zen and then you get all riled back up in the car.
Yeah, exactly.
Then they're done that. After acupuncture, after a massage, after yoga, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Traffic.
Why do I have to deal with humans
Just
now?
counteracted.
Yeah, exactly. So once again, benefits of at-home massage.
And I wanted to touch on, so the Swedish, which is the more kind of relaxing version.
Yeah.
Is that good for lymphatic drainage? Can you talk about that a little bit? Or
So-
all massage really is. So
Yeah, all massage
can we
can be
educate
beneficial
what
for
that is?
all massage can be beneficial for lymphatic drainage for sure. Swedish is going to be, I think, a little bit more beneficial, but there is still a difference between doing like a Swedish massage and a lymphatic session.
Okay.
So it all depends on how deep the structures are within the system. So when you're doing like deep tissue work, which is what I do, you're getting into the tissues of the body, and you can do that at any pressure level as long as you know where they are and kind of how to manipulate them out of the way in order to affect the deeper tissues. When it comes to Swedish, that's usually going to be like superficial muscle, lots of blood flow, lots of lengthening of the muscle and releasing of lactic acid, which is very relaxing. And then you have lymphatic, and lymphatic is more superficial than that even. It's extremely light, and usually you work in a little bit of a fast pace motion, so it almost feels like somebody's petting you a little bit, but in a really relaxing way. I will say I've had a few lymphatic sessions myself, and those are the ones that I actually do fall asleep on, because it's just so calming, and you actually can sometimes feel the fluid moving underneath your skin, which sounds weird, but it feels really cool. And I personally love the benefits of lymphatic. I don't do too many sessions on clients anymore. Every now and then I will, but I do it on myself a lot. And I think that's, I think it's something that's beneficial for everyone, because we as a society just suffer with inflammation so much. And if you know how to sort of work the lymphatic system and kind of drain a little bit of that accumulates throughout the day, it can just make you feel better. It can make you feel less heavy, less weighted. It can better improve your athletic performance. It'll better improve your sleep habits, and just kind of all around. And then even you had mentioned before Elastique. I love that brand because of their focus on lymphatic drainage and the way that the beads are placed. So
I should have worn my elastic leggings.
I should have worn mine too.
I didn't even think about it because I wear them a lot for like actual like fitness sessions. But for Elastic Athletics, they make that specific legging that has the little beads and has the little pressure points to support the lymphatic drainage in your body.
Oh yeah.
And when I wear those, it's like a second skin. Like it feels amazing, because I've told maybe you this before, after years of wearing leggings that were compressive, I started to like dread putting leggings on, like having to like pull them on and be like, ugh, I'm like gonna feel like I'm suffocating my circulation. But I don't feel that way with Elastique. I love those.
I need me a pair.
Yes, you do. I know.
And I love them. And I know you travel a lot. I love them for travel. That's probably my favorite time to wear them, is on an airplane, because it's the air up there is so dry, it's so dehydrating. And so when you get off the plane, sometimes you feel a little like sluggish, even if you're excited to go wherever you're going. And so wearing
it's like an up level to compression socks.
Exactly. It's exactly what it is. So love Elastique. I think they're fantastic, especially for lymphatic purposes. So.
Gotcha. Okay, so if you want it to be a day in the life of your dog or cat, go get a lymphatic, because you will be pet.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yes.
And then if you need more of the aches, pains, pains, tension, come for the deep tissue, the Swedish, or even just for relaxing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then sports specific,
A lot of therapists, and this is how I personally operate, I don't do just one thing in a session. So the school that I went to, it was a longer program. It was about a year. So I learned 16 different massage modalities.
Wow.
And so I incorporate several of those into a session, just depending on what the body needs. So there might be one area that needs something that is a little lighter, a little more circulatory or lymphatic, and then you have just one spot that just will not let go. And so that's when you incorporate a little more of like the deep tissue or the trigger point work to really help that point let go. That way the rest of the body can function coherently. So if you find a good therapist, they should, in my opinion, be able to sort of incorporate different things throughout the session depending on what it is that you need, and be able to kind of operate on the fly if something happens or changes, because not every session is exactly the same, even with the same person. So
that's such a good point.
Yeah.
And it almost is like an intuitive approach.
Yes.
That's so interesting.
1,000%. And I will say the therapists that I've known in my time, because I've been a therapist now for 8.5 years, I believe. I think.
Oh my gosh, I know we feel so young, but we're getting old.
I know, it's terrible. But the ones that I've known that have been the most successful are the ones who have an intuitive touch. They know where to find the things without you even being able to say it. And so even the therapists that I go to myself, those are the ones that I gravitate towards, are the people who they know what they're doing, you know? So.
And you truly are a healer. You have that healing energy. And when you approach someone, you really show love and care, and you're really there to see what that individual needs.
Yeah. So I want to touch on one of my favorite products that we brought today. I've been an Array ambassador for almost a year. And what I love about the owners, Sif and Nish, is that they started this company to create organic, high-quality supplements to address an array of problems. That's where it comes from. And two of my absolute favorite products that we've brought that Whitney and I have tried are the Bloat and the Calm. And what I love about these two products is they kind of go hand in hand with this massage episode today, because a lot of people go to massage for detox and de-stress, and that's how I see these products as well, as a supplement to that, Bloat and Calm. So how can you de-stress? How can you detox? The Bloat has 6 organic herbal ingredients, I believe: bromelain, ginger root, lemon balm, dandelion, peppermint, and slippery elm. And then the Calm has 4, L-theanine, inositol, magnesium, which we talked about, and passion flower. So I love both of those, and those are my two favorites. Array also just launched a collab this week with The Skinny Confidential, which is one of my all-time favorite podcasts, as you know, Whitney.
Yes.
And major inspo for this podcast. So their collab is called Lait de Puff Drops. And they're these drops you can put in your water throughout the day or in the morning to reduce inflammation, bloating, and it also just supports that liver cleansing and detoxification again. So I ordered mine, but here's the move for everybody listening. Go order the Bloat and Calm on Array's website, and for a limited time you can get the Lait de Puff drops. Use my ambassador code AlexisM15 for 15% off your order. So that's at Array's website, ARRAE.com, and use code AlexisM15 for 15% off.
I'll order mine after this.
I know, I need some of those drops. That sounds amazing.
So tell us, like, with that in mind, with that healing energy that you bring, it's a lot. Sometimes you're dealing with different people, different energies that are coming into your space. Like, what's the most challenging part about that? How do you manage it? And what is the best part about it?
Oh, man. I would say it is a blessing to be able to be a healer for people. And I take that as a major compliment. So thank you very much for that. It is a blessing because there's not a lot of people out there who I feel like can have that sort of impact on somebody else's life. So I'm very grateful to be in that position, but it can be exhausting, especially when you've done it for so long. I remember when I was working at a spa previously, there were days I was working like 12-hour days, and in the middle of my day, I would kind of go and hide in the bathroom and like hyperventilate a little bit because it was so much energy that you're taking on. And if you have anything even remotely stressful happening in your own life, it is really difficult to take everyone else's energy onto yourself and then have to deal with your own and then go into the next client and be a healer for them and do that for so many hours and so many days. So it was really difficult for a while. But I feel like at this point in my life and in my practice, I've found a little bit of a better balance where I really prioritize my time. And I think that's something that most healers, if you are in any healing capacity, whether that's, you know, a massage therapist or a Reiki therapist or a yoga instructor or, you know, a talk therapist, anything where you are taking on other people's energies into yourself, it is so important to take time out of your day or out of your week where you are focusing on yourself and yourself alone. That way you can show up as the best version of yourself for these people that you are trying to help. So for me,
Beautifully said, by the way.
Thank you. I am a really big proponent of meditation, whether that is actually sitting down and meditating or doing like an active meditation where you're just walking and you're just, you know, paying attention to your surroundings and, you know, the feelings that you have and the thoughts that you have, or whether that's just, you know, laying in bed for a few minutes in the morning and just taking some deep breaths. Like there's no right or wrong way to do it, breaths. But just sort of calming down your nervous system a little bit can really be helpful. So I'm a big proponent of that. I try to, in some capacity, every single day do a little bit of meditation. But I'm also a big fan of like pampering things, and I don't.
Us too.
Of course, I may not always go to someone to pamper me, but being a massage therapist, I love to do self massage. I think it is so important. I'm a big fan of Ayurvedic practices, and they are such I don't know the word I'm looking for, but they really, really want people in Ayurveda to practice self-massage. It is a huge part of it. When you get out of the shower, get some hot oils and just, you know, massage your body. That's when I normally do more of a lymphatic session. It really does help with calming down the nervous system. It helps you sort of connect to your own body, your own emotions in a little bit of a different way. I also love taking salt baths. We were just talking about that.
Whitney loves that.
I recommend them to all of my clients. It is so important, but I love just taking those little moments for myself, drinking lots of water, making sure that I'm practicing my breath on a regular basis, especially if I get sort of worked up about something. So there's a lot of different things that you can do when it comes to self-care and sort of trying to release some of those energies that you take on. But really, it's just about finding a balance that works for you and making sure that you do prioritize that time for yourself, because if not, you will get overwhelmed and it's not a fun place to be.
It's really such a good point, and so great that she brought that up, because we have a large community of service providers and healers, and that's something I don't think people talk about enough and that's why I think my mom has had several massage therapists that eventually left, because it becomes almost so draining with all that energy. Yeah. So it's, when you're a healer, you're taking on someone's energy. So such a great question, Whitney. And I know, you know, Dr. Sebastian and them, they'll talk about that too, because that modality is also taking on energy. Yeah. And you have to be able to release it, take a break, prioritize some time for you. It's just crazy. You don't realize when you go for you, it's almost like a transfer of energy. Like, when you feel the release, like someone has sort of gained that from you. And it's, I don't know. It's like crazy.
And I know for massage therapists, most massage therapists, the average career span is 5 to 10 years, and you burn out within that period. Most people do. So if you, like I said, if you don't find that sort of balance for yourself of, okay, I'm here to help people and take on what you need to release, but then I need to let it go as well, it will wear you down. That's for sure. But thankfully, I'm at a point where I feel very balanced in that regard. And so I feel like I'm able to approach my sessions and my clients with more of a steady head most days, and really able to be there for them in the way that they need. So, or I try.
It's such good advice. And you've cultivated that awareness, and I think that's the reason you got into your own business. But do you want to tell us how you shifted from working other places to starting your own business and what your goals are with that.
Yeah. So it was a little bit of a multifold sort of thing that happened. It was about a year ago. And I am also, as you had mentioned prior, a curve model and an actress. And with my agency here in Houston, I'm signed to Page Parks, and shout out Page Parks. And I had been getting a little bit more work, and I realized that I needed to sort of rebalance my priorities in my life. And that was a big part of the reason why I decided to go out on my own. That way I would have more time for myself and be able to align my schedule in the way that I needed to for all of the goals that I have in my life. Mm-hmm. And so that's really why I decided to step out on my own. I had been doing massage on my own since I got my license, and I realized that I had enough clients to sort of sustain me in that regard, and then I would be able to pick up more, as I went along. And it's been about a year now, and I'm very excited to say things have been going very well. The summer is the slow season, so we made it through summer fine. So as I was a little nervous, but I was like, all right, we're good. We're in September now. But it has been so freeing, I will say, to be able to work for myself. Yeah, it's challenging in different ways, but
definitely.
But yeah, there's nothing like being able to set 100% of your time and your schedule. And I think there's a lot of people out there who measure success in monetary value. Mm-hmm. I personally don't. I think for me, success is being able to have 100% of the time that I have to myself and to be able to allocate it in whatever way that I need to.
Mm-hmm.
Versus
freedom of time.
Exactly. Versus like having to work for somebody else for however many days out of the week, and then after that go do whatever it is that I want to do. So for me, I'm really grateful.
That's becoming really big.
Yeah,
I've heard several entrepreneurs say that.
Yeah, because you can have all the money in the world and no time to spend it.
Exactly.
So then you might be
or enjoy it.
You might be very financially successful, and yet you're working all the time.
And then that even goes back to what we were talking about earlier as far as desk jobs. Like, they're so draining for so many people, and I think we're getting to a point in our culture where people are realizing there's better ways to live and make money and do these things. And I think there's really been a shift since the pandemic, especially, where people are sort of fed up with having to do the same old 9 to 5, and they're figuring out different ways to be successful in their own right and be happy at the same time, So I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I am. I'm so here for it.
So goals for the business.
Yes. I will be around, I'm not exactly sure the date, but hopefully beginning of next year, I will be opening a small space. Right now I work on,
exciting.
Right now I work on referral only. So since I do house calls, I want to be able to have a point of reference for my clients. And so that has worked very well for me. But at this point, I feel like it's time to sort of branch out a little bit. So early next year, I'm wanting to open a small space where I will be able to take in new clients. And I'm very excited about that. So that's an immediate goal. And then long-term goals, I do want to open a much larger spa eventually, but that's a few years down the road. So we'll get there when we get there. But that's sort of where I'm headed right now. I just want to be able to reach more people and help more people if I can. So
do you know kind of where you're thinking about?
What part
opening?
Of town?
Yeah.
I was literally going to ask the same question. I'm like,
is
so
it
how
close
close
to
is
me?
I know.
So the majority of my clients are centered around the Heights. And so I would really like to be around that sort of area, anywhere from, like the Washington area up through Greater Heights. So
nice.
I'm looking for spaces around there. There's a couple that I'm interested in.
I have a space in mind for you.
Do you?
I know an empty space.
We'll have to talk about that.
We'll talk about it.
So that's sort of where I'm looking at.
That's so exciting. We have enjoyed the referral only because, again, you referred me, I referred the next person. And if you come to our events, sometimes we collaborate with you. So that's an opportunity for our community to get to know you. Absolutely. And then could come to you. Yeah. So we had you at our, I think, a Gals Night event that we did late last year. And you offered free shoulder massages for our attendees, which was beautiful.
Yes.
And hopefully a few of those came. And then What else have we done? Oh, I guess y'all have traded.
Yeah, so
Yes.
we've done that. I met another wonderful lady through a Wellness for Hugh event, and I've been able to do a couple of events with her as well.
Amazing.
I've gotten several clients from Wellness for Hugh.
Yay, we love to hear that.
Yes. And even outside of that, like the community y'all have built is just so wonderful.
Aw.
And so I just love being a part of the community and coming to the events and meeting girls and guys and whoever that comes and really being able to like collaborate in a wellness space. It's been such a enjoyable time for me to have like be able to meet people who also have like-minded sort of desire for wellness and well-being. So I love you guys so much. I don't know that I say that enough, but I love you guys so much, and the community y'all have created is just incredible. So I love the growth that y'all have had too. It's so inspiring. So.
Thank you. Yeah, we're hoping to have next April a sort of retreat day, another gals type event, and we'll have to talk more about possibly having you there.
Yes,
so that's on my radar to invite you to.
Okay, for sure.
But you're hearing it here first.
Count me in. Count me in.
And, you know, you talked about kind of balancing out massage work with your modeling career. So is that challenging to balance those two worlds? And tell us a little bit about the modeling and
tell us
how that's
about
going.
So I would say it was more challenging before. Now that I work for myself, it's a little less challenging. There's still some challenges, but I've been a model now for almost 4 years, and
how did you get into that?
So I originally went for acting to my agency.
Okay.
I've always wanted to be an actress, and when I went, I met with my advisor, Caitlin, and she sort of was like, maybe try modeling, like try it, because we need curve models, and you're like the right height and you fit the proportions and you photograph well, so maybe just give it a shot. And I honestly had never thought about it. I just
crazy.
It wasn't anything I ever really wanted to do, but I was like, okay, like try
an
something
opportunity
new.
present itself.
And I have been very surprised by how much I do genuinely love it. It is something that I honestly never saw myself doing, and to be able to sort of step into those shoes, one, it's a lot harder than people think it is.
Okay.
So let's just put that out there. But also, it's just fun. You know, for me, I wear athletic clothes on a regular basis, so to go get dressed up and, you know, be pampered, like this week I had a photo shoot where I did like a bridal shoot and I felt like a princess. Like it's just
so gorgeous.
Your shots
Thank
are
you.
so pretty.
Oh
yeah,
my gosh,
I
thank
know.
you. It was such a fun time, and yeah, that's kind of how I got into it, and I do love it. I am willing to ride that wave as far as it'll take me. But it's something that I sort of do just for myself, you know. And
it's helped with your acting career as
1000%.
well.
Yeah, I never really anticipated that. But I didn't realize at the time when I got into it how terrified I was to be in front of the camera. I was so scared, and I didn't even know that. And that's not something you can really have if you want to be an actress, is like be scared to be in front of a camera. So it helped me tremendously with that, and in other ways that I never even realized, just, you know, confidence,
yeah.
Like there's a place in this world for people who look like me and to be celebrated, you know. So and also just throwing that out there, like health comes in so many different shapes and sizes as well, you know. Like as long as you're taking care of yourself, and as long as you know your limitations on things, and you're really trying to be active and do all of the proper things, like there is no one size fits all when it comes to health either, and nor is there people or models or anything of the sort. So yeah, it's been really fun. I enjoy it. The balance is not as difficult as it used to be.
Yeah. What kind of actoring, acting
All of the things.
Acting.
have you done? I don't know as much about that side.
Yeah,
I know
so
more about your modeling.
That side's been a little slower, especially since all of the strikes have been going on. So at the moment, I've done a couple of different commercials, and I have some auditions here and there. There's an audition I'm in the middle of that I'm very excited about. I can't talk about it, but I'm very excited about it. And so that's, you know, one of those things where, like a lot of creative people, I just need to have a creative outlet.
Gotcha.
And it's something that you can do for the rest of your life. And so it's something I'm prepared to sort of just be in for as long as I can. And I just love the community around it. And so whenever I get a role that feels right, I'll take it and step into that. But until then, it's just fun. Like,
Just fun, yeah.
playing make-believe as an adult is something that we don't really do, and there's such a freedom in that. So I love it. I think
love
it's
that.
great. Yeah.
I love that you said on a shoot, they pamper you up, obviously makeup, hair, all the vibe. And it's kind of, again, that energy exchange, because you give kind of a healing, pampering feel to a lot of people. So in that moment, you can receive it. And I think that's maybe also why you really enjoy it.
Yeah, I
Have you
never
ever
thought about that.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. That is a great perspective to have. That's probably true, to be honest. It's
And who
probably
doesn't
true.
love getting their hair and makeup
Yeah.
done? I mean,
As I say, I am terrible at makeup and hair. I'm like as simple as can be, foundation, mascara, straighten, maybe.
Yeah.
That's like my max like capacity. So I feel like every time y'all talk about the modeling shoots and stuff, I'm like, man, maybe I need to go be a model. 'Cause I need someone to do my hair and makeup.
Try
I like
it.
cannot.
Oh my gosh. It's so
Yes.
fun. There is literally nothing like having an entire team of people around you that are just hyping
Unreal.
you up. I
love
like
it.
on the one I just did this week, we did a shot through the veil, and there's a behind the scenes video out there somewhere. There's like 6 people holding up this veil around me, and like one of them's ordering pizza, and everyone's just saying all these things about like, oh my God, I can't, I die. This is so beautiful, stunning, like all these different things. And it just makes you feel so good. So
You're like,
you should
yes,
try
I
it.
can.
Yes, I think everyone should try it if they can.
I feel like Michelle needs to be the behind the scenes person. I don't know what all those people are called that are hyping you up, but Michelle, our friend,
Yes.
is such a good hyper upper. Like I
She
could
is.
see her doing that. I'm
She
like,
totally
Shout
is.
out to Michelle,
I feel like
professional
Michelle.
hyper upper.
Yeah, new
We love her.
opportunity for her there. I'm gonna have to tell her about that. Any other like favorite modeling opportunities you want to shout out? Do you want to talk about the Buff Bunny one? Because that was pretty cool.
I loved Buff Bunny.
I was like obsessed.
I loved
I don't know if
Buff
I know
Bunny.
about this one.
Yeah.
They're an athleisure.
Yes, they
Yeah.
are an athletic brand. They are so soft. So 10 out of 10 would recommend trying them out. Their leggings are like butter. And then Heidi, who is the owner and founder of
Yeah,
Buff
women
Bunny,
owned. Yeah.
she is the sweetest human imaginable. She is so kind and has such a good air about her. And I was so excited when I got that shoot.
I bet.
It was so fun to be on set with that many people who were just there to make something cool. And everyone there was so beautiful and so kind, which you don't always find. But it was fun. It was just such a good time.
so fun.
And I have so many of their pieces. Like I rock them all the time. I think Buff Bunny is an incredible brand, and the message that they have is incredible. Like, athletic wear is for everybody, regardless of the size that you are or where
Yes,
you are
that's
in
what
your
I
health
love.
journey. Yeah. And everyone that I met there had some sort of story with their health journey as well. So it wasn't just, oh, we're all coming in and we're perfect right out like the box. It was, no, we've had struggles and we're here to show that this is, something that we're all passionate about. And yeah, the products are amazing. The group was amazing. Heidi is amazing. So I loved Buff Bunny. That was such a fun shoot.
We're gonna have to check more their brand. Like,
I want to,
get
yeah.
some more of it.
Yeah.
And I love like what you just said about how the athleisure, athletic brand space market is changing so much. I mean, there are certain brands, I'm a curvy lady as well, and every once in a while you try it and you're like, this just doesn't fit. If I have hips, this is not going to work on my body.
Yeah.
And I'm strong and I still want to look cute in my workout gear. And so now there's just so many options out there. I mean, the market is full of really great options.
Oh, yeah.
And we can support, small women-owned, really cool entrepreneurs out there.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Definitely. So speaking of kind of challenges and struggles, I know we've all had them. So what does your wellness routine look like now, or any like wellness advice you want to share?
Oh, man. So I will say it is a lot more balanced than it used to be. I used to be a weightlifting girly. Like, that was my thing. I went to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. I lifted all the weights, did all the heavy things. And then I started to notice that, like, my joints hated me for it.
Oh.
And so now I've sort of found a balance. I love doing maybe 2 days a week of weights. I go on a walk every single day if I can, if I have the ability to. And then yoga. Yoga has improved my life so much. And Whitney had mentioned earlier that we do the bartering sessions, and even coming to the Wellness for Hugh events, it has been such a big impact on my life. Like, whenever I first started coming to you, I don't know if you remember, I was having a lot of issues with my hips and like my abdominal region, and I am 3,000 times better from what I was then. And it only took a few sessions for me to really notice a difference. And so that is the one thing I tell so many of my clients, like if there's one thing that you do from now to the rest of your life, do yoga, because it will change your body in ways you don't even realize. And I'm not talking aesthetically. I'm talking strength and just the ability to connect to your body and know what it's saying at any given point, because that's a big problem where I think a lot of us just ignore the signals our body's sending us, and to the point where we don't recognize what it's even saying anymore. And so when you start to tune in and tap into your body, it really does make a big difference. So big proponent of yoga and having like a balanced routine.
So
I know.
I'm over here
so
like,
true.
it's beautiful.
It's true though.
Okay.
So that's great. And then, like I said, I love baths, especially after a little bit of a harder workout. Doing a salt bath is fantastic. The magnesium in the salt helps to counteract any lactic acid buildup that is
I love
developed.
taking magnesium.
Yes, that's also a great way to do it, especially like if you live in a building where maybe you don't have a bathtub. You can always do a magnesium supplement. Yeah.
I always tell her, I'm like, you can come take a bath.
I know.
You should take her up on that one time. So that's great. Obviously, the self massages I think are fantastic. I'm a big fan of dry brushing for lymphatic purposes.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, so big fan of that. And oh man, what else do I do?
You're doing a lot.
So many things.
So many things.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say and this is kind of a simple thing, but one of the things that and it sort of kind of goes in conjunction with the meditation is just working on the breath work. I think that's something that's so underrated, especially in a like high fast-paced society like Houston or any larger like metro area. We're so used to the go, go, go. And so to be able to just sit for a second, whether that's at your desk when you don't have a meeting or in the morning, at night before bed, when you're eating your lunch, whatever it is, just sit for a couple of seconds and just breathe. And when you breathe deeply and intentionally, you feel your nervous system calm down very quickly. And that's probably one of the easiest self-care tips that I can say that will actually make a big difference in your life is just breathe.
I love that one. And as a health coach, like in addition to yoga, I like that because I'll tell people take a few deep breaths before you eat, because you'll start to notice like you eat really stressed or eat distracted, and if you can just calm your nervous system before, it'll help you shift into that rest and digest your food better.
Absolutely. And that's even a cornerstone of Ayurveda is to eat without distraction. So don't watch TV, don't be on your phone. You can talk to people if you're sitting around a table with like your community, but just focus on your food. Yeah, be mindful about it. And
I'm terrible at that one.
I think most of us are. Like, we didn't really grow up.
I can do the breaths, but I might still have some distractions.
Exactly. But it is, even if you can, just do the breaths and just sort of be able to focus on getting your digestive system to kind of do its job when you're eating your food.
Because if you're eating stress and you feel bloated and all the things. So if you notice that happening more throughout the week, take a step back and take some breaths.
1,000%.
I did want to ask before we get too close to the end, fascia.
Yeah.
What do you know about fascia? This is a hot topic.
I love fascia.
Because I feel like massage therapists are the best to talk about this. And Whitney too. Feel free to add on.
Fascia is one of those things.
What is it?
So fascia is a connective tissue. It surrounds every part of your body internally, the muscles, bones, organs, everything. And if the fascia is unhealthy, particularly in a muscular standpoint, the muscles will stick to other muscles. They'll stick to surrounding tendons, ligaments, bones, different things of that nature, and it can create structural problems. So it's sort of one of those things where a lot of people either don't really know it exists, or if they do, they don't understand the importance of it. And so when it comes to massage specifically, warmth is one of the best things that you can do for fascia. There is specific fascia work that you can do as well. One of my personal favorite ways to work with the fascia is dynamic cupping. That is, out of all of the tools I've ever used in my practice, cupping is by far my favorite, specifically dynamic. Static is fantastic as well for athletes and whatnot, but when you're massaging, when you're able to actually go through with the cup and then follow it up with the hand and then go back and forth, it creates this kneading effect on the muscle from the inside,
Okay.
where there's like a push and a pull, and the fascia loosens up so much faster that way. And you can notice an immediate difference usually in particularly around joints, where it may not be the most comfortable thing, to be honest with you, especially if it's a little deeper, but the relief that you get is so immediate. It is mind-blowing for me and for so many of my clients who have had like issues that have been there for years and years, and in 1 or 2 sessions it's just gone. And
I need this in my next session.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love it so much. So yeah, fascia,
And to add on to that, I think it's crazy. There's been a lot of research just in the last decade on fascia. And they used to, like 20 years ago, when they were, studying the human anatomy and they were using cadavers, they would take the fascia and literally throw it
away.
Like they
wouldn't study that part?
No, they didn't realize all the value in the fascia. And now they've realized how much you can learn about a person by studying the fascia, their style, their lifestyle, maybe like how much stress they carried. I mean, there is a lot. And that's why, like with yin yoga, we always talk about like holding stillness and giving your body time to release that stress and tension, because we hold so much of it. And where does it go? It's in our fascia.
And that's one of the things I recommend to my clients as well, if they're struggling with those sorts of limitations structurally, is yin yoga. Do yin, because it will allow your body the time, like you said, to melt into it and to sort of let that release happen naturally without forcing it or without doing something that's going to be contraindicating to it. So yeah, yin is by far my favorite.
Yeah. We have a few yins coming up, but hopefully we'll have some more when we drop this episode.
Yes, absolutely. Check it out, guys.
Well, thank you so much. I just wanted to touch on that before we close, because I think it's so important.
We need a whole pod episode on the fascia.
Yeah, for sure.
So our last question for you, Kim, is just, what does wellness mean to you?
Wellness is something that I think is ever evolving, to be honest.
Beautiful.
It depends on where you are in your life. Sometimes it's, if you have a busy life, maybe you're a mom and you have 3 kids or whatever it is, and you have to take care of all of these different people around you. Sometimes wellness is just making sure you eat, making sure that you are taking time out of your day to take care of yourself and your body. For me, that is exactly what it means, is regardless of what point you are in your life, regardless of what you have going on, if you can find the time in some capacity to prioritize yourself and to prioritize your health, your well-being, your mental health as well, that is wellness. Now, it might be 5 minutes of your day where you're just sitting and breathing and laying on the ground. It might be, if you're extremely stressed out, maybe, throwing a pillow at the bed or something, like not dangerous, obviously. Or maybe it's making sure you get your microgreens in every day. Or maybe it's making sure that you hit your water that you're supposed to be drinking.
Just having wellness in mind as a goal. Yeah.
Just consistently throughout your life. Like, how can I make myself feel better where I'm at in this stage of my life? And if you are able to kind of keep that in the back of your mind always, then wellness will always be a part of your life.
I always say health is a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
So I love that completely. So Kim, where can we find you?
So you can find me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Kimberly Danae Davis. Once I have my studio space opened, I will have a website available and an Instagram available where people can book through
via that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Currently, I'm still only referral.
But
so
if you come out to a wellness,
if you come to a wellness event, or if you know Alexis or Whitney, by all means, reach out and we can set up a session.
And how often should people come for a massage? Depends.
That depends.
Every day.
Okay. It depends. Every day. Yeah. It really kind of depends. I would say most people about 3-4 weeks.
Okay, usually I hear once a month is a good starting point.
Yeah. If you have something really wrong, like something that you're dealing with, and you really want to see some relief, then sometimes 1 to 2 weeks, depending on the issue. Usually after about 6 weeks is
You
when
can make a recommendation.
Yeah.
So overdue.
Yes. And I just wanted to ask that too, because thank you, Kim, for helping Houston be more well.
Of course.
And if you're afar, then definitely find a massage place near you. We hope you learned a little bit more about the benefits and the different styles and what it can do for you. So maybe start with a month. And if you need a little bit more, go from there.
And then
Yes.
always take your therapist's advice, because every therapist is different and no two therapists work alike. And if you find a therapist that you really like and you enjoy the way that they work and how they make you feel, then listen to them.
Golden.
Yeah, listen to them.
Well, thank you so much, Kim. We so appreciate having you on, and we'll have to have you again when you have your space.
Yes. Thank you so
We
much
love
for having
you.
me. I
Thank
love
you.
you guys. Thank you.